First stage of the tour is right over here. As you'll know, we're one of the only companies left in the music industry that imports round logs that we cut ourselves. Most other places they bring in pre-cut logs, whereas with the round logs we have full control over the life of the wood in drying and maturing and usability for making musical instruments. In this machine here, between these two they get cut lengthwise and then widthwise, and then they go looking from these blanks here to those like this over here. From these stacks, they get taken out back, where they start getting dried out for a minimum 3 to 5 years, if not more. Instead of quick drying it, where that way the cells, the water cells that contain inside the wood, if it's dried out too quickly, they burst. And then the wood starts warping a lot easier that way, and it's not a usable piece of wood for musical instruments.
German wood or?
Oh, from all over. US swamp ash, African hardwoods, European hardwoods. We have a very wide selection of the woods and very strict eye for quality that we always aim to import. Never anything cheap. After being air dried for 3 to 5 years, you might have seen back here there are 2 hot kilns where they dry it out even more so, whereas air drying brings it down to an average of about 15% moisture, which is the ambient humidity in the area over here. In the kilns, they get brought down to about 8%. Between 6 and 8 is essentially the perfect line where you want to have the moisture to start using it as musical instrument wood. After they get kiln dried, they start being brought in to this facility.
Sorry.
As you can see, examples of stacks of wood being brought in. And what this machine here will do, inside the kilns there are temperature and there are sensors that determine the relative humidity inside of the kiln. Now, of course, large stacks of wood, different locations of the sensors, it's not as accurate as you would see from this machine where it tests each individual piece of wood for exactly which moisture it has. As you can see a bitter, each piece will be color-coded after it's determined how much humidity it has. Between 0 and 7.5 is too dry. Between 9 and to 10.5 above, that's too wet. But these are still within the acceptable conditions where they can still be regulated inside our facility here, which is humidity controlled. Maybe sometimes from the roof, you'll see moisture being brought down to keep the relative humidity at a stable level at all times. And we'll get to the color coding in the next station as well, and you'll see the purpose behind that as well. After it is checked for the humidity, it is brought into this machine here where it is then planed on all 4 sides, where it goes from these rough cut pieces of wood to something a little more like this here. See, on all 4 sides, you can already start seeing the figuring of the woods, the flaming of the woods. From here, you're also able to determine if there are any imperfections. See the don't see any right away, but any knots in the wood, wormholes, any sort of imperfection, they're spotted and marked around here. Sometimes you're still able to use it if you can cut around it, and the parts with the imperfections are then used as waste wood. And what we utilize waste wood for, we collect everything and we send it to a burner where we use it to maintain heat throughout the facility. So there is no such thing as garbage wood. Everything gets used to the end. Aside from the waste wood for the heating, we also have solar panels on all the roofs, natural gas facility. You might have seen windmills in the back lawn as well too, as we are the first and only carbon neutral company in the music industry. And this station here is the book matches. They take the different pieces of wood and they determine what pieces can be used with what pieces. As you can see here, some examples. This is an incorrect selection. The color's a little bit different. The grain does not match. Knot holes. This is not a good piece of wood for music instruments. As this one here, the color is the same. The grain is in the same direction. No relative imperfections. There's one over there, but that came after someone knocked it, unfortunately. But this is a good piece of wood for music instruments. If you remember the color coding, you'll see why here now. With pieces that are relatively too dry, just a little bit, they're used together because you do not want to mix too dry with too wet. Otherwise, it'll work against each other in the expanding and contracting of the woods naturally. So if you have ones that are just a little too even, they will settle together where they will shrink a little bit together. Vice versa, where it's too dry, where it will expand a little bit, but it will expand together. As well too, in the selections for the neck woods, especially for something like this here, we always try to aim for either vertical grain or 45-degree grain. And the purpose behind this, when it is cut, shaped for the neck wood after it's glued together, the grain works with each other to maintain stability of the neck throughout the life of the instrument and reduce at any point the possibility of warping that causes fret causing, anything like that that you would not expect for a high quality musical instrument. Here is where the necks all start getting made. After the laminations are applied, the wings are then attached to the side of the neck, for example like this here, and then the laminate is glued on top. And you can do, as you can see, we have, each machine can do one set of necks at a time. Reduce the waste to the wood. One log, you can make 2 necks out of it. It saves a lot of wood, and especially with the resources these days, you have to do everything you can to not waste wood. Use everything that you possibly can. It maintains the stability of the ecosystem that we all harvest and use. And as we are such new, with being carbon neutral, we are also part of reforestation programs, where in West Africa, we sponsor regrowing of new trees. As you can see up here are the different stages of the wood manufacturing process. From the gluing, section over there, the shaping and the cutting, you then see the routing, CNC routing for the truss rods, as well as 2 slots on the side for stainless steel bars. As you can see, the steel bars are positioned from about the 12th fret on towards the body of the instrument as a way to maintain even more stability, as that spot is very notorious for getting the most warping happen at that point where the tension of the strings always cause it to work against itself. So you have that for added stability. You get that put in there, and then step for the frameless mix as well, a lot easier than doing with the Warwick mix. As you can see, it's 1, 2, 3 steps like that over there. And in this same facility, Warwick gets custom shops, frameless custom shops, as well as the German Pro Series for both Warwick and frameless as well. As you can see, for the first couple of steps, they come in at this station as rough cut necks. You can see the CNC router right now is carving the rough cut necks so that they come out looking like this from this. Sorry? Oh, that's natural. This is Wenge net wood that we use for a lot of our necks and our fretboard materials. pieces of the body start getting book matched. They are rough cut with the outline of the instrument that has to be used. In this case, it will be a streamer. You can also already start seeing where the curved body shape starts coming to life from. After the rough cut is being made, these body blanks are then this machine here. As you can see, we already have this in progress right now. And you clearly see an example of the 5-axis CNC router that we have. Most manufacturers use a 3-axis, which is up and down, side to side, front to back. Whereas ours being 5-axis, we can also angle the CNC router.
Yeah.
Which, because of the 3D bodies, this is where it's absolutely important. From this finished piece that you can see here now, 3-axis can do this stuff no problem. But once you start looking around back here, because of the curved body shape, if it were to just be straight 3-axis, you would encounter a lot of issues in terms of the gradients that you get out of it. And especially for something like this here. One possibility that you could do at that point is you could angle the body itself and still use a 3-axis router. But with that, of course, a lot more imperfect. Whereas these machines, every machine in here is all accurate to within 1/100th of a millimeter.
Oh my god.
Surgical precision. Where we just like to incorporate the accuracy of machines, and we'll get to also the handwork that you can only get from talented, skilled workers. As you can can see the drill marks from the CNC router. We get rid of all this, and it's all the curves, all the accents, all the features, attention to detail that only the human eye and the human hand can sort of provide for the final thing.